You've said disrespectful things in the past, Minister. So you'll understand why there is some alarm here tonight.
I do. I understand that. Your husband and I, we do not see exactly eye to eye on how to achieve progress for the black man. And yes, I have been piercing in my critiques of nonviolence. But because we don't agree, Mrs. King, does not mean that I am the enemy.
What do you intend to say to these people then, sir? A lot of work has been done here, and I don't intend to see it undone tonight.
That is a scene, of course, from the powerful civil rights film Selma. After such a dramatic portrayal of history, a free copy of the film is now on its way to every high school in America. An amazing effort there, and we're delighted to have one of the stars of the film with us today in the studio, Carmen Ejogo, with us. Hey. Thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure.
Congratulations on the film's success.
Thank you.
I mean, it has got accolades, critics, and obviously the message on point.
Yeah, it's very rare as an actress that you get to be part of a film where the audience really gets behind it and critics get behind it, and that it has social relevance and cultural relevance, and it really hit a zeitgeist. It was really a dream job in so many ways.
So this had taken such a long time to make. It had taken a lot of effort to get out there. The story being incredibly important. Obviously, you play Coretta Scott King. Was there added pressure then, knowing the length, knowing the extra attention that was going to be placed on this film for how you were going to deliver?
Well, you know, this isn't the MLK biopic that we ended up telling. Right. It's really about Selma, and so I think that took a lot of pressure off of me and David to give the sort of the definitive performance of Coretta or MLK. I'd played Coretta once before in another production for HBO, in something called Boycott. So I'd sort of had a test run at it, and actually I got to meet Coretta, and she gave me her blessing. She really enjoyed the first time round. So knowing that Coretta herself liked what I was doing, had done, I think took some of the pressure off in terms of getting it right. And you have to also remember that when we actually made the film, what was happening on the streets of America wasn't quite happening yet in terms of what was going on in Ferguson, what was happening in in the streets of Staten Island and so on. It was those sort of events were always going on in this country, but they weren't sort of having the spotlight moment that they were last year. But while we were making Selma, we didn't know any of that was about to come, so we didn't realize just how zeitgeist and how in keeping with the times this film really was. In some ways we were just excited to be telling a moment in history and committing that to film, and then the fact that there are real cycles in history, and what was happening then in some ways is still happening, became far more apparent to all of us.
Which is one of the reasons why Paramount Home Media is now distributing a copy of Selma to every high school, essentially using it as a learning tool.
Yeah, 18 million high school students will get the potential to watch this film now. And I think that's so valuable because they will be voting potentially for the first time in their lives in the next couple of years. And I think it's very easy to forget the relevance of the vote when you don't remember the sacrifice that went into getting the right to vote. And that's something that this film really reminds us of. And it also reminds us generally that participation as a collective is everything in a democracy. You don't have a democracy unless you're willing to participate in it. And I think that's something that the younger generation has to be reminded of. So I'm extremely excited that it's in schools across the country.
What does it do then to your mind as an artist when you've put your body of work out there, knowing that you've told this particular moment in history, that it's going to then have an impact later on? I mean, you spoke to it, the fact that in fact this could be influencing the next generation of voters.
Sure.
And it goes, I think, much larger than the cinematic experience. Clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I've played historical characters a few times now, and I'm always really struck by the fact that for some people, this is their only sense of that moment in history that they'll get is the film version or the TV version, that they don't necessarily go back to the books to really get the details, which is a very big responsibility. But it's also a privilege as an artist that you can sort of shape minds in that way. And I don't take it lightly. You know, I choose my work very carefully, and I have that in mind very much. I try to be as free as an artist and, you know, sort of choose work that I respond to personally. But I'm also really excited when I get to do work that has some kind of cultural resonance at the same time.
All right, so I'm going to be honest with me. Knowing that you had the blessing from Coretta Scott King, and you heard about Selma coming up, did you feel like, this is it, this part's mine? Be honest, be honest.
I don't actually go in for roles very often unless I really feel like I know I can give something to this that no one else is going to be able to deliver. And I may still not get the job, but I have to have that level of personal conviction to the material, to the role, to even walk in the room. So yeah, I guess a part of me felt confident enough to show up, but I still had to audition for Ava DuVernay and with David, and I went in with, I put the lipstick on, I tried to get my hair like Coretta. I wasn't giving anything, you know, to chance. And she didn't give me the job straight away. She saw every other actress in Hollywood to make sure that she had the right person. But I think she did in the end.
I think she did, and I think a lot of people would agree with that she did as well. You have such a wide background. Sparkle, The Purge. Is there any particular role that sticks out to you that says that is most like my own personality?
Jeez. I mean, there are parts, I guess there are little parts of me in Sister from Sparkle, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which parts. I'm embarrassed to admit. Because she's a bit of a hot mess. But I also think, you know, I'm a mum, and so even The Purge, that material resonated because I understood what it must be like to be a mum, trying to get through any kind of situation where you've got to protect your kid, you know, that made sense to me too. So there's probably something in everything I've done where there's something that speaks to me personally. But the reason I love this job is because I get to transform and be outside of myself ultimately. That's really that's the fun of it all.
Well, talking about the historical significance that you have played in so many different ways. Back in 1994, Saturday Disney. Do you remember this?
You don't have a clip.
Of course we have a clip.
Oh my goodness.
What's going on? What's going through you?
I mean, amazing.
You're in
Where did you find that? I want to show my kids. That's awesome. Now, I started out sitting in your chair. I was hosting. I used to interview pop stars in the UK, and I've done a bit of everything. I've sung, I've done a bit of everything.
Do you like it? So which side do you like to be on?
Well, to be honest, I just like to express myself creatively. So if that's what I get to do in your chair, then that's cool. The acting I've really sort of honed in on for the duration of most of my career, because, you know, to be taken seriously in this game, you've got to commit to one thing.
Right.
But the music is something that I have a deep passion for and have done my whole life, and that's something I definitely want to sort of find my way back into in a way that feels authentic. But yeah, I'll do it all. I'm into all of it.
Okay, so the pop stars that you interviewed then, who did you go just kind of crazy for? Was there anyone that you got really nervous? Because you and I were chatting just before. Patti LaBelle was just here,
I know,
right? And we're sitting here glowing the fact that we had a brush with greatness right there.
Well, I mean, this was in the UK, so it was UK pop stars. So it was people like Kylie Minogue or you know, or Madness. Do you even know who they are?
I've heard.
Boy George. You know, those kind of people were big for me because I came up in that whole music scene.
Right.
But yeah, that was a fun time. It was a great way to. It was a great training for this sort of moment. It's funny how all kinds of things converge ultimately, because as an actress, you're not trained to do the interview.
Right.
But the fact that I have experience in that means I can sit here and chat with you and feel pretty good.
You know exactly.
I know exactly what's coming. I know how to do the auto cue.
We don't even need the prompter up there. But I do have to put the disclaimer out there. Disney obviously is a parent company of ABC, just to make sure that we all know that we're all one big happy family as well. Okay, what's next for you?
Well, I just did a film with Ethan Hawke about the jazz musician Chet Baker, and I play his sort of muse character, and it's set I'm back in the 60s. I'm always in the 60s, which is fine because I love the clothes, I love the hair, it's a good look. But that hopefully will be coming out later this year. And then maybe the music. I've been in the studio.
Really?
Yeah,
okay. Any particular genre that we should be?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm into everything. I really, growing up in the UK, it was Prince, it was Queen, it was electronica, it was new wave, it was everything. And so my taste is really broad. But I'm ultimately a pop head. And I want to do something like it's a really classic, great pop album.
All right, you're gonna be
Patting the bell. There you go.
There you go. It's already out there. It's thrown. It's going to make it happen. Carmen Ejogo, thank you so much for stopping by, and continued success.
Thanks so much.